Hello, poetry people. Welcome to Poetics, the podcast where poetry breaks free from the page and runs wild through your heart. My name is Tamarah Rockwood. I am coming at you from beautiful Bainbridge Island, where the sea whispers secrets and the trees write their own verses in the wind. By day, my husband Ben and I run Bainbridge Island Press, a haven for poets who aren't afraid to rip open their notebooks and show you what is beating inside. But we've had this revelation. Seeing these words on paper is only half the journey. Poetry needs to be unleashed through the human voice with all its cracks, crescendos, and emotion. That is the heartbeat of Poetics. Each episode, you will get a front row seat to poets performing their work exactly that they intended to be experienced. We're talking goosebump moments. Plus, we will chat about poetry from all walks of life and discover worlds flipped upside down by a perfect stanza or a devastating line break. Because great poetry isn't just something you read. It's something that reads you right back. We'll dive into the weird, the wonderful, the hilarious, the heartbreaking, whether you're a poetry professor or someone who hasn't read a poem since high school. This is your invitation to the coolest poetry party around. So grab your favorite drink, find your comfy spot, tune those ears to maximum reception. It's time to discover how ancient this art form is, and yet how explosively, perfectly now it can be. Welcome to POETICS Podcast. The poem that we are going to be listening to today is called Rings. It is from the Bainbridge Island Press book, Time Billionaire. The poet is KG Newman. He is a fascinating man with a depth of poetry in his soul. This is his fourth book, and we were more than happy to read it and publish it and then read it again. It was a truly exceptional poetry collection, and it is delightful on my part to get this poetry into the hands of readers. It has a very distinct and authentic voice that feels resonant. The best collections maintain a consistent tonal quality. It's consistent while still offering a variation, so it isn't the same poem over and over. When I read it, I had the sense that I was hearing from a specific perspective with a specific theme with universal insights, and the voice was true to itself throughout the work. The structure of the book progresses, and the title is Time Billionaire. The book is about time, and that has to be one of the most valuable commodities we have, is time. How much time is enough with your children? Never. How much time do you wish you had with someone who you've lost? How much time do we have on this earth? How much time will the trees continue to grow? We don't have control over time. And this poetry collection touches on the heart of that. So without further ado, because I could talk about this poetry forever, I'd like you to hear it. So this is Rings by KG Newman from the book Time Billionaire.
Rings. The city makes me for a splinter and an approximate solitaire. It cements me within the half-life of a decaying stadium where someone in the rotunda dons unsuspecting statues with scapulars. My sins written in chalk on all walkways orbiting the riverfront with not a cloud in sight. Sons learning to ride bikes in cul-de-sacs, projecting on the white sides of high-rises at twilight, like drugs dissolving on the tip of my tongue. And the flags are at half-mast, and I have no idea why, other than to guess the factories must be sleeping without dreaming again. This is the place I pick to save the prior minute's version of myself. The pennies scattered in a mirage off in the distance, and if I squint long enough, they take the shape of a sequoia.
I have to read the last stanza again. This is the place I pick to save the prior minute's version of myself. The pennies scattered in a mirage off in the distance, and if I squint long enough, they take the shape of a sequoia. This poem presents a deeply personal relationship with the city as both alienating and transformative. The speaker feels simultaneously trapped and isolated, like a splinter and an approximate solitaire, while witnessing moments of unexpected beauty and transcendence among the landscapes of concrete. The poem navigates themes of memory, guilt, perception. There's a moment in the ordinary with scattered pennies. It transforms into something magnificent, which is a sequoia. These are beautiful imagery. It reminds me of Whitman. It reminds me of Carl Sandburg. It reminds me of people who have written about cities and our relationship with cities, and also our disrelationship with cities. There is nothing natural about a city, and it is something made. It is something created, and we created it. So it's this wonderful balance of relationship between each other. So in this poem, we have these striking juxtapositions of imagery. We have the sacred, and we have the secular. We have someone in the rotunda, and we have innocent scenes of sons learning to ride bikes. We have a masterful use of surrealism within concrete reality in this poem. This poem grounds itself in tangible urban elements. There's stadiums, there's walkways, there's riverfront, there's high-rises, and this creates a dreamlike quality that is reflecting the speaker and their state while maintaining a credibility. The factories, sleeping without dreaming, the transformation of pennies into a sequoia, this beautiful balance of the concrete observation and the imaginative. And I would hope that Wallace Stevens would love this. I did. So the point of inspiration for me was the last stanza. It really was when he said, "This is the place I pick to save the prior minute's version of myself." That autonomy that the poet is capturing. This is the place I pick. I am choosing this place. This is where I am. But it also is a prior minute's version of himself. And also, what is it worth? The pennies scattered in a mirage off in the distance. He isn't using fields of gold. It isn't a crystal road. It is something that it's in the past, and we only have the memories from it. It's very striking. I would encourage everyone to find this book. It is on Amazon. It is on BainbridgeIslandPress.com. It is in any local bookstore. It's international. I love these poems. They are transcendent. They mean a lot to me whenever I read them, and I didn't even write them. They have the universal quality that I love. So thank you so much for listening and loving this poem with me. Okay, friends, that is all for today. If you have enjoyed diving into the world of verse with us, please join us next time. We've got more poets to meet, more poems to explore, and more literary adventures to share. So until then, keep reading, keep writing, and keep poetry close to your heart. Thank you for joining POETICS Podcast, where we bring poetry to life, one verse at a time.